Hey guys, it's the patient hodler coming at you with another video, and in this one we are going to talk about the Metaverse, about the Veveverse, and some, in my opinion, very interesting aspects about the Metaverse as a sphere, about how Veve fits in the whole concept of this new digital infrastructure, and about the dichotomy of the Metaverse. But before we start, please keep in mind that I'm a crypto and NFT investor and not a financial advisor. So please do your own research before you ape into Ecomi, into Veve, or any other investment opportunity that we are talking about in this video. Also, if you want to support this channel, please subscribe, consider dropping a like, and let me know what you think about the Metaverse and about Ecomi and Veve in the comments below. If you want to do more than that, consider becoming a rare hodler, a Patreon to my channel. The link you'll find in the description. And at this point, I want to thank my 8 subscribers or Patreons for always supporting my journey and making it possible that I can come out here and have some equipment to take these videos. But with that out of the way, let's get started. I guess today is my lucky day because yesterday I tried to take this video out here as well, and the rain made it impossible for me to take something that you can listen to because the camera went full of raindrops and the wind blew into the microphone so that you cannot hear anything. So today the big rain front is in front of me, so I hope this doesn't come to me, but it seems that this already happened. And I came out here with a bike, and now I'm going to take a walk with you. So if you want to talk about the Metaverse, then stay tuned. So let's talk about the first aspect, and that is what the sphere of Metaverse is at the moment, or is perceived at the moment, and what it could be, and how I think that some people kind of got the wrong idea of what a Metaverse will be. So I think the first misconception is that the Metaverse as a whole will be created by one company, and all the other companies try to defeat the next competitor in becoming the Metaverse and creating the Metaverse as if that was launched on one particular server. I think that is the imagination of creating a video game and a computer game, and I think this is coming from the old idea of having one digital or virtual world where you can experience your adventures. And I think it's somewhat correct if you assume that the first, for example, MMORPGs like World of Warcraft were somewhat a first iteration of a Metaverse, because they were a digital world displayed on a screen where people could join via their computers and have social interactions. And if we think back to World of Warcraft, for example, a core piece of what the game was in Vanilla and in Burning Crusade was social interaction. You had to group up, you had to build a raid to be able to defeat certain bosses, to get the good stuff in the game, to raid the other party and to defeat them on the battlefield. So social interaction was a big part of that, and people spent many hours in that sphere, in that space, but it was provided by one company and it had not many integrations to it. So how is this Metaverse a different story? In my opinion, the biggest difference is that the Metaverse is somewhat a new digital infrastructure, a new category in which many companies will provide different services, and that everything will grow together, like most digital services are growing into other things, like into platforms, like for example Amazon as a digital place where you can buy goods. They have the providers of the different goods that you can buy, they have payment service providers that they are integrating, they have analytics for the Amazon business parties that are acting on the place. So they are integrating more and more providers like PayPal, but also MasterCard and Visa on the other hand, and then all the brands that are selling their stuff and then even selling used stuff on the platform. So there is a lot of stuff going on within this sphere of e-commerce, let's say, where a lot of companies are providing their stuff. And that is very different to a computer game that is hosted on one or multiple servers, but everything, every service is provided by that one company. In our example, that would be Blizzard Entertainment, that has been bought by Activision and that has been acquired by Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken, for the purpose of building a Microsoft provided part of a metaverse. Now, let's talk about how these services could integrate and why I think that Veve and Ecomi is one of the many providers into a metaverse. And even with the Veveverse, there is not the risk of losing out to one other competitor. And I think in that perspective, our investment into Ecomi and Veve is safer than we might think, and it's riskier because of other factors. So if you think on a sphere, on a metaverse, where other metaverses like Decentraland or Sandbox are coexisting, and you can take certain goods from one metaverse into the next because they are being provided by certain companies to all of the metaverses, and therefore there's something like an API, an interconnection to bring these things to different metaverses. For example, there is a project that is called Audius, and Audius lets basically blockchain-based music creators provide their music to different platforms. And Audius has, for example, launched a radio station in a metaverse that is called DeFi Land. And I think there is no barrier to Audius also bringing music or a radio station into Decentraland or into Sandbox. And I think also Audius could provide music within the Veveverse, which would be just another part or area of the overarching metaverse. Or take Chili's, for example. They have built a store for Socios.com on the metaverse Blocktopia. But this is not an exclusive deal. They can build their stores everywhere and provide it everywhere. Now, how would you feel about your collectibles if there was a Veveverse that has a Disney land or a Disney city, but also Marvel and DC, and there is all that collectibles and stores and utility going on inside the Veveverse, and then they would come up with and say that you can actually take your Golden Moment statues, your Batman, your Knight Rider car, your DeLorean, or whatever other collectible that you're owning at the moment, and not only use it within the Veveverse, but take it interoperable to another metaverse, like for example Facebook Meta, or what Activision is going to create, or to Decentraland or whatever. So these very scarce collectibles that we have at the moment will spread out and get thin throughout the metaverses, and you would basically have scarcity to these IP-based first appearances just by people using them in different metaverses. And Veve would be connected between, and the Veveverse would be connected between all those metaverses like a Nexus verse. So that is my imagination of how Veve would provide collectibles with utility, and even with connection to physical items and real life utility, to the whole sphere of metaverses and not only to the Veveverse. But then this door goes the other way as well. So people could come from another metaverse to the Veveverse to get their collectibles, to grab their collectibles, to buy them from other people that, for example, rent them there or sell them there, and to be able to take them to another metaverse. So that is how I imagine that utility is coming to those collectibles. And then also maybe you grab one collectible from the shelf at the Veveverse, and that gives you the possibility to have a physical counterpart to that collectible shipped to your home in the real world. Okay, so talking about the real world here, you could ask, this guy is always walking and talking in nature. Why do you want to go into a metaverse? And I think this is where we have to talk about the dichotomy, or the two sides of what a metaverse actually can be and what will be our part in shaping this metaverse. I think there are two ideas of the metaverse, and one is a more utopian one and one is a very dystopian one. I hope you have all watched the movie Matrix, the first part at least, where basically people are in an incubator lying as bodies connected to the machine world and basically giving all their energy so the machine world can operate and can do their thing, while the machine world provides an illusion of real life as kind of a metaverse to all of those bodies. And these bodies are basically only created and reproduced to feed this big machine, and in fact the world is destroyed and is nothing really comfortable and warm and welcoming anymore, but rather an environment of destroyed and gray cities, rain, machines flying around. So this is how people imagine the end state of a metaverse, what a metaverse can be. And I think, haven't we already arrived at the state where people basically in a hamster wheel get sucked dry of their energy in places they don't want to be, and being fed an illusion of a life so they can power a system? So why would you be afraid of the metaverse being this type of thing, right? Why would you be afraid that the metaverse will bring this, what, if you are truthful and real to yourselves, a lot, millions, if not billions of people on the planet are already living. And I am not saying that we are not all going to end up with a cable in the back of our heads and are living in this illusion, believing that this is the real world. But I think that most people don't consider the fact that we have a power at our hands to also shape what this metaverse will be in the future. And I think that the metaverse has the possibility to give us a lot of comfort by providing a new tool, an opportunity to be able to work from home in a sphere where you can do things that you cannot do on a screen, but in virtual reality, and provided the infrastructure of a metaverse. For example, if you are working with prototypes of metal, like for example you're an engineer and you're working on prototypes for new aircraft turbines or designing airplane wings, you would be able in virtual reality to spin and modify these objects and even have the feelings of how the material feels, and at the same time you can come together with the best engineers of the whole world in the same room and spin and turn this object around and look at it together without you having to board a plane or go hours by car to work and then back. So you would save all that travel time to do that. And I'm not saying that we are getting rid of going out into nature and having meetings in person, but there could be things where you could work on a daily basis with people from all over the planet and teach and learn in a 3D augmented reality or virtual reality way, while interacting and having all these virtual digital pieces with utility delivered to you so you can work with that. So consider that people are already living in cities with millions and millions of people, like Sao Paulo, like the cities in China, where it takes you 1 to 1.5 hours to get to work, to be always in the traffic jam, and then to sit in a gray, dark cubicle, staring at a monitor, doing stuff that with a metaverse, with all the possibility of augmented reality or virtual reality glasses, you could do that from home and save the 3 hours per day to do something else in real life with your family, or experience something else that you want to do but you don't have time. So this could be one aspect. Or imagine children at school that are going to study biology and they are learning about lions and sharks, and at the moment they are looking into a book or on a screen, on a paper or a little video of a lion or of a shark. But what if they could stand around a lion while it is walking around? Or what if they could swim with a shark without being in the danger, to see how it moves, to see how it behaves in a virtual reality world where you can dive in and make this experience, and all this new teaching and school material in form of 3D model of a shark that is moving and behaving like a shark. This could be provided by different companies that have specialized on recreating such a thing, like for example National Geographic, which is a brand within Disney, which is on the Veve app. But I'm not saying that this has to be Veve that is providing this, but could be cool. So what if in the end, if we see a black and white, there's the Matrix like dystopian vision of the metaverse, and the positive one that saves us time and makes learning more fun, more interactive. So what if we choose to go the way of the metaverse that is fun to experience? And then there's also the possibility, I mean, people are already wasting hours of their lives in front of a computer screen playing games 2D. Why not do it in 3D and have a way bigger experience with other people in a metaverse where other providers can bring in and compete about exciting, let's say, collectibles like Veve has already, and make at least that experience better? Because it's not like the metaverse will lead to people wasting their time, be it on the jobs or be it in a game. This is already happening, so we should use it as a tool and as a weapon to make our lives better, right? So that's how I feel about this dichotomy of the metaverse. And I'm not saying that it's crazy to think that this can go horribly wrong, but I think it's not certain yet that it will go wrong. So in the end, you have to imagine the first iteration of a metaverse is basically already there on Veve, which is a showroom. And if you think a little bit further into the future, something like the showroom where you see some collectibles lined up could be also the marketplace of Veve, where we at the moment only can see the 2D snapshot of what the collectible is when we buy it. But what if you could step in a room of Disney, for example, and just look at all the collectibles in 3D directly, and then click it and choose it and see the price and then buy it that way? So this would be like shopping at Walmart, different items. And we have already heard that the vision of Alfred Kahn for Veve or the Veveverse is to be something more like Walmart, or I would even imagine it like an Amazon that brings you a new experience of buying something in such a shop. So I think the days of an open sea like shop or website where you buy your NFTs, they are counted already, because with the metaverse it will be possible to enter something like a showroom where you can have these 3D and 2D pieces lined up to look at it via virtual reality or so, and then decide to buy it. There is so much to say about the metaverse and what is going to come, and I'm only speculating. I'm not saying that this is the whole truth and this will happen exactly like that, but this is how I like to think it. So let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this. In my opinion, this is the way that Veve Ecomi will make us rich. And yeah, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night or afternoon, and see you in the next video.